Maybe don't like large dumplings, but I like them. I want to say hello to everybody that's watching. Be sure and order my series when it comes out. It might be on higher ground. Always get. Also, another secret is you want to keep the dumplings in the pot. It doesn't pertain to just everybody. Just those with arthritis that might be watching.
Pepper on that, Dad.
No. I'm afraid I won't get it there before it gets cold. Yeah, I believe that's I'm afraid, Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, for the many blessings you've given us. Thank you for this food, and ask you bless it to the nourishment and strength in our bodies. Please be with our friends and our loved ones. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
It is a snowy day in January 2025, and we are sitting down in Mom and Dad's living room, Knoxville, Tennessee, and we're going to get to listen to their stories. Some we've heard before, and some we will hear for the first time. I hope it's a blessing to all of you all. And with much love for Sandra and Charles, here we go.
Well, to start off with, you said we'd be married 60 years. Probably when hell froze over. It's a good day. Look outside. No, I'm just kidding. I was born in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We lived in Charleston, and then when I was about to enter the first grade, we moved to Mount Pleasant, which is still in Charleston, but that's where I started school and went first through fourth grade. Then my dad got a job he was a printer. Actually, he's at Linotype, which is really done computerized today. But it was like a giant typewriter, which is archaic to most people. What he did was amazing because when he set the type for it to go to print, he had to read it backwards. Then my father got a job in Washington, D.C. at the government printing office. And we moved up to Washington, D.C. and got there the day that President Eisenhower was inaugurated in 1952.
January 1953, the eyes of the world were on the White House in Washington, D.C., where Harry S. Truman greeted his successor, Dwight D. Eisenhower, new President of the United States. After 20 years, a Republican returned to the White House. Mike, as he is familiarly known to fellow Americans, receiving his oath from the Chief Justice, the late Fred M. Vinson. On A dramatic moment in the life of a soldier statesman, now the 35th President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower and his Vice President Richard Nixon.
Where I finished out the 4th grade there. My brother was in college at Elon University, which was then Elon College, and my sister was married already. And then we only lived there 6 months because we were out of place up in the north, and Mom wanted to move back to South Carolina and to Holy Land, which was Glory Land, as my grandmother called it, to Charleston. But Dad would not go to Charleston, so we wound up living in Columbia. And I finished school went through grade 5 through my senior year. Moved back to Charleston and lived with Mom and Dad in their new home in Rotherwood Estates out Savannah Highway. After I settled in with them, I needed to find employment, and so I went to I guess I saw an ad. Went to a bank. Anyway, I interviewed for a secretary position, and the man wanted me to tell him right away if I could start to work. Well, Mom was waiting for me after the interview because she'd driven me there. And I was all upset because I said, Mommy wanted me to tell him right then. And I needed time. And actually, back then, I'll never forget, she went in the drugstore and got me a Coke with ammonia in it, which they did back then to settle me down because I was just all upset. I got a phone call, which was at Mom and Dad's a day or two later, I'm not sure just when, and Mom said, Sandra, it's for you or something. And anyway, it was an attorney on the phone, and he said he had been at the bank and he needed a secretary pretty quickly. They told him at the bank they had someone who had come in applying for a job who wanted to be a legal secretary, or who was. So I worked for Mr. Cornish and Mr. Hallbeck until Charlie and I got married in 1965.
I was born in Somerset, Kentucky.
To be near your mama.
To Joseph Hudnall Whitaker and Virginia May Floyd. They moved shortly after I was born to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and then he worked for Southern Railroad, and so he was transferred from Somerset to Chattanooga, and then from Chattanooga to Birmingham. And when he moved to Birmingham, he worked at the Finley shop, which was a railroad shop there, but they were building Norris Yards at the time, and Norris Yards, he became employed at Norris Yards, and he built patented the first automatic oilers for trains. And during the time that we lived in Birmingham, the World War II was winding down, and they needed people to assist the farmers getting back on their feet because all their help had went into the war, and some of them didn't return, and their equipment was all broke down, tractors and the whatnot, and they needed some assistance. And so Dad volunteered to go work on the farm equipment at Corner, Alabama. So we lived in Corner, Alabama we moved there when I was about 4 years old. We stayed there until I finished the 6th grade. We moved to Irondale, Alabama, to Norris Yards, and that was the most modern railroad yard at the time in the world. That was just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. It's a suburb of Birmingham, actually. That's where he had his patent for the oilers. And I went to Arndale Junior High School until the 9th grade, and you left from the 9th grade to go to the 10th grade in Shades Valley High School. I graduated from, well, I didn't hardly graduate from Shades Valley High School because we had to move up here. Moved up to Knoxville, Tennessee, and I went to Bearden High School and graduated from Bearden High School. And went to UT for a short period. And I decided I would join the Navy. And I went over to the recruiting office in Knoxville at the main post office. I thought I was going to be a Marine. And so I went to the Marine headquarters over there. They had the Marines and the Navy and the Air Force all in there together. And I went to the Marine recruiting office, and I was nearly dinner time. And the guy told me that if I wouldn't mind, I would come back after dinner and he would sign me up. So I did. I left to go get something to eat, and I came back fairly early after dinner, and he wasn't there, and the Navy guy came in first, and he asked me what I was doing there. I told him, well, I was fixing to join the Marines. He said, well, you don't want to join the Marines? Here, let me take you in here and sign you up for the Navy. So I just said, well, since he isn't here, I'll go ahead and do that. So when I got through, he said, well, okay, we'll put you in the Navy, and said we'll put you in either electronics or electrical, which I knew nothing about any one of them. And so that sounded good to me. And so we went to Nashville. We went from here by bus to Nashville, Tennessee, and we were sworn into the Navy in Nashville, Tennessee in January the 20th. 1961, which was the same day that President Kennedy was elected president or sworn in. And so me and Kennedy swore in at the same time, me in the Navy and him in the presidency.
You, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear
I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear
that you will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of your ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
We all agreed to go to Great Lakes, Illinois, and so we all had on just Tennessee winter clothes, January the 20th, jackets and normal blue jeans and whatever. And we got off the train in Chicago, and it was like 19 below zero, and we were all freezing to death. But we went on into what's called Camp Moffett up there at the Great Lakes, Illinois, right on the Great Lakes. I joined the drill squad, and then after I joined the drill squad, they needed so many for the staff, which is a group of 3 and a guy that sort of leads them around, and they lead the companies. So I was in the staff during boot camp, and the only advantage we got was that we got to go to chow early, and we got let our hair grow about a quarter of an inch taller than anybody else's, like we would be at the graduation ceremony. They sent me back to Great Lakes, Illinois to go to A school as an electrician. Didn't know an amp from a volt to a watt. I ended up being second in the class, which was a pretty good thing, a big class. Towards graduation, they asked for volunteers for the submarine service. This guy named Musto told me, said, well, why don't we join the submarine service? I said, well, they told me not to join anything. You shouldn't join anything. And so, voluntarily. But anyhow, he said, well, they make more money than the regular crews. They make $50 more a month. So I said, well, okay, I'll just apply. So we went from Great Lakes, Illinois to New London, Connecticut submarine school. And so I did real good on submarine school, and they asked you where you want to be stationed. And I got Charleston aboard the USS Trigger, SS 564, which was an old diesel boat that snorkeled. When we were on it, we went to the Mediterranean, and we spent about 3 months over in the Mediterranean during the summer, spring through into the summer. And it was a very good tour. We toured Italy, Spain, and France. After we got back from the Mediterranean, we came back to Charleston, of course, for our home port. It was while I was in Charleston that me and a couple of guys were going to the beach. And we decided to go to Folly Beach. That's where we ended up meeting your mom, Sandra Whitaker, Sandra Mosley then. That was in about 1962 in June, I think she said, is that right?
63.
63 in June.
One of my friends' name is Ruth Nan Clyburn. She's just a real energetic, precious friend, and she worked at City Hall, not far from me. Went to the beach, and lo and behold, I see Charlie, who I didn't know at all, walking along the beach with a friend, a buddy of his. I said, Ruth Nan, sit up and look your best. I said, I'm going to meet that guy before the day's over. Lo and behold, Charlie and his friend came walking by, and they kept walking. So our best apparently wasn't good enough at that point. But I really felt like if I hadn't met him, this is the gospel truth, that I would have missed out on the most important thing in my life, really. I did. Not long after that, here comes Charlie and his friend again walking back. What was his name?
Trahan.
What?
Michael Trahan.
Michael Trahan. Not the football player. I don't remember his name being Michael.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I just found funny how all things sound new as you get older. It's like, are you sure? Judy dated him. I didn't think his name was Michael.
Michael Trahan.
Okay. Anyway, Michael wanted to be with me. But the interesting thing about Charlie that I left out, it was not a drawing card for me. It might have been for a circus, but he was walking on his hands. I should have known that was a clue to what I was in for. But he was walking on his hands part of the time. So anyway, I'll never forget it. But anyway, and Charlie did not have a car, but I did. So I went home and told Mom and my brother, and
Congratulations, 60 years of marriage. That's huge. I hope you have a joyful celebration. Your family is full of love, and it's a delight to be part of it. And what a long road you've covered since Charlie first spotted that cute girl on the beach all those years ago. Sending a lot of love from rainy, gray Seattle, and congratulations again.
Happy anniversary, Sandy and Charlie. Sorry I'm sending you this video from my car. Just running around a lot these days. I hope that you have a wonderful celebration for your 60th anniversary. That is a monumental amount of years to be married. I'm proud of both of you. Enjoy all those sweet great grandbabies that keep showing up on your doorstep. Eric and I hope to visit with you sometime soon in the future. We had such a nice time a few years ago.
lo and behold, Charlie called later on that afternoon. And so I invited him to the house. And my niece Debbie, bless her heart, rode with me to pick him up at a shopping center that was near the base, but he walked probably 6 blocks or so. He did not want me to go to the base at all to pick him up because there was bars all in the neighborhood and stuff. So he walked up to a shopping center area and waited. We went and picked him up. I took him to the house. And then later on that evening, we did go bowling for our first.
And took Debbie.
We took Debbie bowling?
Yeah.
Oh, Deb went with us?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Of course, I only had eyes for you. Anyway.
Good evening, Sandy and Charlie. This is Tony, live from Summerville, South Carolina. I want to thank you and your family for letting me celebrate this joyous and momentous occasion. It's truly a blessing that you two have gone this many years, and just love is the only reason. Love and faith. I just want to congratulate you and wish you all the happiness and all the best in your continued years of marriage. And may you have many, many, many more. From Summerville Live again. Congratulations. We love y'all.
Happy 60th anniversary. Congratulations. We love you.
Congratulations.
He had an old flame that he had brought up a time or two, that he had a love that he lost down in Alabama, and I actually had been going out with the Citadel cadet who I don't need to talk about him, but it
His name was Earl.
Yes, his name was Earl Perry Ross. He's probably still driving a cab, which is what he did in the summer. But I think he's graduated from the Citadel by now. When I first met Charlie, Earl had sent me some flowers. My birthday was in June. And Charlie came to the house. Well, I didn't want to have to explain where I got the flowers from. I remember moving the flowers from room to room, trying to get them where I wouldn't have to say, if he noticed the flowers, who had sent them.
It's a good thing I didn't learn that. She was dating somebody else while she was dating me.
Well, Dad got me, you know what he got me? He got me a necklace, right? That had a,
Opal.
It was opal. Okay. For some reason I was thinking it was a mustard seed.
No, it was a liquid opal in there.
Yeah, it was opal. But I should have known I was in trouble. That's back there when we had the long playing records, the 33 and a third. He got me, was a Japanese one called, what was that song?
Kawasaki or something.
And I should have known. It was the strangest.
Come with me to the sea. Come with me to the sea. Come with me to the sea.
Anyway, moving right along. Then it was after that, that we got serious. I mean, you proposed to me, 6 months before? You proposed in June of 64.
I proposed to her after she proposed to me.
We talked about getting married. And I would kill him now, but
She was kidding,
then.
yeah.
But we would go, I always wanted to get engaged on the Battery for some reason. Yes, we
You
did.
always wanted to get engaged on the battery, though.
I thought we talked about.
No, we didn't talk about getting engaged on the battery.
We're not even doing good talking now. But anyway, that was just kind of something in the back of my mind.
And we went to the drive-in movie one time. We were parked up near the concession stand.
Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty array of snacks we have to offer. So will the youngsters. Everything is quality and so good.
And I heard this little click in the back of my car, and I thought, well, maybe that sounded like the trunk clicking open. And that goes to the engine. And I peeked up over the back window, and I see this guy has got the lid cracked up. And so I always took my shoes off sitting in the car, and I was in sock feet, and sure enough, I eased over to the door and got out as quickly as I could, and here he goes to the back of the lot, and I was hot on his trail, and I caught him just as he got to the end of the drive-in area, and there was a wooded area down there, and I caught up with him. I tackled him down there and had him pretty well under control, and here comes his buddy who's going to help him out, but his buddy decided it was better not to help him. So I was pretty strong back then, and I got him with his hands behind his back, both of them, and I carried him back up to the car with his hands behind his back, holding him. I let him down on the ground there, and there was a police officer. He still had the screwdriver in his pocket that he was going to work on my car engine with, and he was a Citadel boy, and his buddy was a Citadel boy, so I didn't know if he knew Mom or not. And so anyways, I had the officer say, "Who in charge of you?" I said, "No, I think he's learning his lesson."
You're the real Mr. Muscle Beach. I was dropped in the village because I used these village grind by the sailor man.
There's some things that I need to back up and say about Earl. Earl and I were not serious, no matter what Daddy said. But I was trying to teach a northern guy from Pennsylvania. What?
Neither was Linda Keith and I either.
I was trying to teach a northern guy some southern manners with that guy. And how I met Earl was because of my brother. And we'd gone to the Dock Street Theater with my brother and sister-in-law when they were visiting in Charleston. And we went to a restaurant afterwards before we went home just to have something. I had something non-alcoholic to drink. I was just sitting there, and there were some cadets over at a table, and they were talking and looking our way. And one of them walks over and asks my brother if he could borrow one of the girls from the table. And my brother looked at him and said, of course you can, as long as it's not my wife. And I looked at my brother because I was the only other one there. And he said, have her back in 15 minutes or something like that. And my own brother, who always set me up, with things, and he was older than me, and I had to listen to my brother or he would frog me. He said there was a party he'd like to take me to. He'd be back. Well, the other guy, it was a joke because they said, I bet you can't walk over there and get that. So he won the bet with his friends, and I was, the victim of it. we go up to the party. I'm still stunned that my brother would push me into this stranger's. And we crashed a party. It was for Wachovia National Bank and Trust Company, and he didn't know a soul. I said, take me back. Probably fussed at my brother all the way home. But anyway, that was the
Tell
story.
them what you drank while you was at that party.
I didn't drink a thing.
Oh.
Something non-alcoholic to drink.
Okay.
I was with Buddy and Susan at the table. When he came home on leave, he was going to buy a car. He said, I'm going to buy a Volkswagen. And I said, great. And he said, what color should I get? And I said, anything but red. Please don't get red. And so lo and behold, when he got back from leave and everything, he came to meet me at work when I got off at 5 o'clock. And I said, well, what color did you get? He said, I got red. And I said, you got red? He said, yeah. And I thought he was kidding me. And lo and behold, we walked up there. It was this red, shiny Volkswagen Beetle. And he got red. And I should have let that be a red flag to me that he said he thought I was using reverse psychology or something. I don't know how. But
well, what I never did tell Mom, which she never didn't ask really, but was that when I went to Snyder Motor Company, which is over off 5th Avenue, to buy that Volkswagen, they only had a red one.
Mr. Jones and Miss Miller were neighbors. They each had $3,000. With his money, Mr. Jones bought himself a $3,000 car. With his money, Mr. Krempler bought himself a new refrigerator, a new range, a new washer, a new dryer, a record player, 2 new television sets, and a brand new Volkswagen. Now Mr. Jones is faced with that age-old problem, keeping up with the Kremplers.
honey,
What do you call it? First Church of Seville?
it's on
First Baptist Church of Seville.
Focus on His will, on His word, on His ways. The beginning of the...
I love that song.
Well, on the fly tie-in, what we got is a flybys. We got a backboard so you can see better. And we got a fly tying bench that we use so we can put all of our tools on it. We have some scissors, and we keep some pins and all to do coloring. And we have some pliers to take the burr off the tooth.
That's a nice one there. Oh, nice one. Let me get a big
trout or a bluegill or even a bass. And this one is made out of Rosie's hair. That's totally Rosie's except for the legs we put on it, which are made out of rubber.
And so he was going to get out of when he got discharged from the Navy after 4 years of service, which was due in January on the 21st, right? Is that
I was supposed to get out on the 19th of January.
Oh, on the 19th, okay. Anyway, our wedding was the 23rd.
That's my card. Here's when I got out. Let me see. Okay, there's when I got out.
Wow. January 22nd. And what was your wedding date?
23rd.
And also, he said he would have had duty that weekend. That's what you said. You would have had duty, so he couldn't have gotten off for his own wedding.
They were holding people over because the Vietnam War was starting, and they were possibly going to hold me over.
Yeah. So it was looking kind of bleak there at the last. Well, my boss, Mr. Cornish, bless his heart, was a major in the Army Reserve, and he knew some people out at the base. He had a friend, and he called his friend and said apparently that his secretary's fiance's discharge paperwork was on the desk of somebody, and he explained, and they're supposed to get married, and I think he pulled some strings on that and was able to get Dad everything.
Discharge.
Yeah, the day before our wedding was the 22nd, wasn't it?
That's right.
And we were very fortunate because we were just going to have at our rehearsal just our immediate wedding party, just drop by the house after the rehearsal. Susan and Buddy, bless her heart, she arranged for us to have a rehearsal dinner at the Fort Sumter Hotel. That's no longer the Fort Sumter Hotel in Charleston. It was a wonderful, wonderful, exciting, it was plush. It was just unbelievable. It was like fairy tale movie.
Charlie, hey, it's me. Happy, blessed, miraculous, wonderful, amazing anniversary. It's quite a feat to celebrate the 60th anniversary. Good job, both of you. And thank you so much, and thank you, Jesus Christ, for putting these two children of yours to raise more children of yours, Lord. Sandy and Charlie, I can't express the right words to you. There's so many memories I want to share, and so appreciative of you, and I just want to thank you for all and let you know that you have been part of my joy from ever since I was little to now and beyond. Thank you for letting me be your flower girl when you got married. I remember that. Charlie, good job.
Hello, 'tis I, Tommy, the black sheep of the family. I know you remember me. About 5 or 6 decades ago, two of my favorite people in the world, my wonderful aunt, wonderful Aunt Sandy, and my extremely awesome Uncle Charlie, they got married. It's one of the happiest days that could happen. They've been just nothing but blessings to everyone around them. I know they've been big blessing to me. Anyway, I just want to say happy anniversary. Can't believe it's been that long. Doesn't seem a day over 58 years, but okay. All right, love to all. And it'd be kind of cool to see y'all at some point. Anyway, take care. Love to all. Happy anniversary. Daisy says hi. Bye-bye.
Was pretty smart. I liked her fact that she was smart. And so I thought, you know, we had a little bit in common in that neither one of us were very well off. So we just hit it off. I just knew that Mom was the one. We dated for 6 months and we figured things out. And we thought it was time to get married.
I asked Charlie, probably in a heated moment, why did he even marry me? And he said, well, you're a good speller. Well, that wasn't anything like what I expected. He said, well, I'm good at math and you're good at spelling. I thought it would be beneficial when we have children for them, because we were opposites, because spelling was not his big suit. And so anyway, he was correct in that assumption, because Daddy being a printer, spelling and grammar were definitely stressed in our home. And so anyway, that's why we had the marriage for 60 years, because I could spell good, and he was good at math. My dad's name was Furman Colin Mosley, and Daddy was the 7th of 13 children. My dad would say, he was right smack in the middle, which he was. He said I had 6 older than me telling me what to do, and 6 younger than me that I had to look after. To hear Dad joke and say that. His dad passed away when he was a young man, I think barely 13 or almost 13. So my dad went from a boy to a man overnight. He did not have the opportunity to be what we would think of as our teenage years now. It was way different back then. My mom said she remembered when Dad had said that he would bring his paycheck. He became an apprentice for a printer because he had to go to work and help, because his father had passed away and he needed to help his mom as much as possible. From his paycheck, grandmother would give him back a dime. That's what he would do. He was very loyal and faithful to help, and for the most part, his brothers and sisters were all very, very close as they could be during the difficult times. And Mom and Dad were married in 1931 during the Depression.
Soup kitchens and bread lines became as commonplace as the flappers and speakeasies of the Roaring '20s. And Herbert Hoover's campaign promise of a chicken in every pot couldn't have been farther from the truth.
And my mother's name is Lucille Bennett, and she was from Barnville, South Carolina. Actually, Daddy had dated her sister before he dated Mom, but I think only one time, probably. My dad was engaged to someone else when he met Mom, and he was going to visit his fiancée, or almost fiancée. But I believe they were engaged, that's what he said. And he was walking up on her porch one evening to go visit her. And he saw her sitting on a couch with another young man. And my dad, according to Daddy, he turned and left, and that was the end of that romance. He broke his engagement.
That was Evelyn, wasn't it?
It was Evelyn. Yes, it was Evelyn. So it was kind of a joke through the years as I was growing up, and Mom and Daddy would be talking, and every now and then Mama would say, I wish Evelyn had gotten you, or something like that, you know. And it was just kind of funny. She was kind of a household word through the years. Well, after my mom and dad had been married, actually 50 years or so, we were home visiting, and my dad had a keen sense of humor. And I think, you know, well, most of it was corn. Dad said he was into liquid corn, but I was just plain old corny. And Daddy said he had read in the paper and saw where Evelyn's obituary was printed and that she had passed away. I said, oh, Dad, wonder what happened. Like he would know after 50-some years being married to Mom. He said, well, actually, she grieved herself to death. He said she was still trying to get over him, but it took her a while, but she finally succeeded. And honest to goodness, that was one of my favorite stories. But my mom, bless her sweet heart, she was legally blind for a number of years. It broke her heart not to be able to drive when she could no longer see to drive. She loved to fish better than eat, but she was known, her trademark, besides her big heart to love her family, was her cooking. And so when you went to Mom's, you pretty much hung out in the kitchen and with her. And I know when we would drive down to see them in South Carolina, we would get there probably about 12:30 in the morning. We'd go in and she said she had that chocolate pound cake. I've got potato salad in the refrigerator if y'all need a snack now. Here it was in the middle of the night, you know, if you want potato salad. And she tried to fix everybody's favorites. Besides Mom being such a loving person, is when I was sick or something, had a sore throat or had the flu or something, you couldn't get out of bed and go to the bathroom. When you came back, your bed was made. She just looked after your every need. And another reason that I've learned to love Charlie so much through the years is that he would take Mom fishing when I would be at work and his schedule permitted. He'd say, Mommy Seal, you want to go fishing? She said, what time do I need to be ready? And she had bad arthritis and her vision, as I said, was extremely poor. She got a knee replacement when she was 93, and she said, if I'd have known it was going to be this easy, I'd have had them both done at the same time. She was amazing, and she never let her limitations control her. She always did the best she could, and we were so blessed to have her the last almost 9 years of her life live in Knoxville. Grew up with Mom and Dad at a different time than my brother and sister because there was 9 and 11 years difference between them and me, and it wasn't always easy, but my happiest times were when my brother and sister came home from college and being married, and then the nieces and nephews started happening, and that thrilled me to death. Anyway, I was very, very blessed to have parents who loved me and had rules. And we always saw it, and I know Charlie, Mom and Dad were the same. But when you had rules that had already been passed through the legislature, it had to be law, you know. That's the way parents operated back then. So times were different, and we tried to be respectful always of our Mom and Dad.
I was a brakeman at the Southern Railroad. And in that, he was in the mechanical end of the railroad. And so when he volunteered to help the farmers get back on their feet in corner, I was still a young boy. And even then, at 5 and 6 years old, we were out washing parts in kerosene and handing him a certain size wrench and those kind of things so he could work faster. And so I learned early on what sizes wrenches were and what parts came out of certain things. And so that led me down a path of being in the mechanical end of things. My dad, he wanted us to be doing something all the time. So I learned, not to be lazy. And we had all the chores of the house, getting in wood and stuff for the fireplace we used to heat our house. And we had to saw it, and we had to split it, and we had to gather it in. We did a lot of woodworking. Dad liked to woodwork, so that's where I got my woodworking start. And he wanted to make sure we were learning something all the time, so he brought me a little jigsaw that just vibrated. It wouldn't be very dangerous, but it would cut wood, and I would make whatnots and things. Fun growing up. We grew up doing what we wanted to do out in the woods. We'd go down to what's called the creek bottoms, and we would get a cane pole and take some worms with us in an old tobacco can, and we would just take the line and the hook and whatever weight was on it and tie it to the cane pole and fish off a creek bank. Neither me nor Leonard or even Dad knew how to swim at that time. And we would be fishing in creeks that sometimes was over our head, and we would use logs to cross them, and we would catch everything from little mud cats to about a little bitty brim, and if we caught anything, we'd take it home, and whatever we took home, Mom would cook it for us. And so that's growing up. And so Dad also took us out hunting a lot, and he was a crack shot. He was really good, and we would go coon hunting. We had 2 dogs, and we would sit around the campfire and listen to the dogs run, and you could tell your dog from their dog and so forth, and by the way they barked and where they were moving, you could tell where they were moving, sort of what they had. You know, that you would say, well, your dog's found a fox trail and he's running a fox somewhere. Well, when they got on a fox trail, they'd take them up in Timbuktu. Sometimes you'd have to come back the next day or so to get your dog. So Dad kept us going that way. He worked a lot, so he was worked a lot of 12-hour shifts during the war and all. And then after the war was over, he still worked quite a bit of hours. Everything we grew, Mama canned. A lot of hours in the kitchen canning. And my sisters, we had 3 sisters, and they canned with her.
To Charles and Sandra, 60 years have passed like waves on the sand since love first bloomed where they took each other's hand. A stroll on the beach under skies so blue. He tall and handsome, she radiant too. With eyes that sparkled and hearts full of grace, they found forever in each other's embrace. Through seasons of life, they've built and they've grown, a family of 4, their love brightly shone. Children with strength and dreams that fly high, all blessed by the love that can't be denied. Through every challenge, they've stood side by side, with wisdom and joy as their constant guide. A tale of devotion, of laughter and tears, of building life across 6 decades of years. So here's to the couple, so lovely, so true, a life full of beauty, forever in view. Congratulations to my precious brother and his wonderful wife, Sandra. Happy anniversary.
Sandra, we hear that this is your 60th wedding anniversary. Wow. Don't forget, Sandra, I've known him, I lived with him for a third that length of time, and I know how hard-headed and cantankerous he can be. So hang in there. We hope you celebrate your 120th here in a few more years, and we're here to join you. So,
hi guys, just wanted to be part of this celebration. Wanted to wish you a good anniversary. We've had some good times over the years with the kids growing up and being together and all, and I know what it's like to be married to a Whitaker. So girl, hang in there. You need a halo. We both need halos to put up with these guys, but 60 years, congratulations.
Congratulations.
We'll hope to see you soon.
Hey, Aunt Sandra and Uncle Charles. Happy anniversary. We heard it's your 60th. Bobby Joe and I just wanted to wish you a happy 60th anniversary. Love you. Happy anniversary.
Hope to see you soon.
Hi, Uncle Charles. Hi, Aunt Sandra.
How are y'all?
Happy anniversary. 60 years.
Wow.
Beauregard's like, wow.
So, we're at 37 this year, so we're doing our best to catch up with you. Thank you guys for being such great examples, good Christian people, great parents, great aunt and uncle. Yeah. So
definitely.
Well, from Virginia to Tennessee, congratulations. We love you guys.
Happy anniversary.
Hey, Charles and Sandra. I hope you're enjoying your special day. I was thinking about you, and I remember a beautiful day 60 years ago that you got married. Wayne and I traversed across those snowy Smoky Mountains and ended up spending your wedding night in Cherokee because we couldn't get back home. But it was a beautiful wedding, and I'm so happy for both of you. Congratulations. Wouldn't it be nice to have 60 more? Whoa, that would be something, wouldn't it? Well, love you both. You have a beautiful family, and 4 kids later, you're still going strong. So keep it up. Happy anniversary. Congratulations. Love you both. Barbara.
Hey, Uncle Charles, that's Sandra. We just heard about your 60th anniversary, and that is a long time by anybody's standards. So from our family to yours, we just wanted to wish you guys
Happy anniversary!
Well, good morning, my dear brother Charles and my wonderful sister-in-law, Sandra. I'm so happy you're hitting your 60th anniversary.
when we hit ours last year, Carl, my son-in-law, Googled it, and he said one website said only 2% make it to 60, and another website said 4%. So out of the 5 of us, 4 of us have hit our 60th anniversary. I think that is remarkable. I have certainly known y'all from the beginning, was at your wedding, and I am so happy that y'all have had such a beautiful family and enjoy your family so much. That is one of the most important things in life, that's for sure. And I look forward to seeing you when I get back home. I'm in Florida right now. But y'all have a wonderful day and a wonderful celebration of your anniversary. Happy 60th. Bye now.
When we got married, Dad had taken leave right before he got out of the service, came up to make sure he had a job, and he thought he was going to work for the Norfolk Southern Railroad, like his dad and his brother.
Southern Railroad then.
Oh, Southern, yeah. And so he took leave and came up to make sure, because we would have waited to get married till he had a job.
Railroad was going through some rough times at the time, as well as a lot of employment places. And there wasn't apparently any jobs to be had at the time at the railroad. So left me hunting a job to go to.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want Sandra working. Now we were running out of my money. I was running out of money after a honeymoon in St. Augustine, Florida. And
gift money.
And gift money and stuff. So we were running out of money, and I needed to have a job. I didn't tell Sandra, but I was just about ready to rejoin the services. And
Pardon?
So about that time, Mr. Hoskins, who was a chief accountant at KUB, lived across the street from where my dad lived, and we were staying with them while we were hunting a job, KUB, Knoxville Utility Board. So he said they had some jobs over there, so I went and applied, and they hired me on the spot, and I was a relay and test helper, which wasn't a very big paying job, like $2.50 an hour pay. That was in 1965. And even then that wasn't a great pay, but it was okay. We could barely get by. And so we still owed money for her car, which I forgot how much was it, $50-something a month?
$72.72.
$72.72. And when you're making $2.50 an hour and you're trying to eat and trying to afford rent, it don't leave you much money in your pocket.
Yeah, I want to love my life away. I want to love my life away. I want to love my life away with you. Ooh, I want your hugging in the morning, all your kissing late at night. I want your sweet talk in the sunshine and holding my hand in the moonlight, 'cause I wanna love my life away. I wanna love my life away. I wanna love my life away with you. Ooh, yes, we're gonna let the world and all of its trouble go right on a spinning by. We're gonna build one dream upon another, clear up to the sky, 'cause I wanna love my life away. I wanna love my life away. I wanna love my life away with you. Ooh, I keep you warm in the winter, give you cool kisses in the summertime, walk by your side in the autumn, and in the spring bells will chime, 'cause
we wanted to know if we were in love, so we asked the wisest man in town. We wanted to know if we were in love,